I want to thank my colleagues from CARICOM, Prime Minister Mottley, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister Gaston Browne, and my brother and friend, President Irfan Ali from Guyana. And of course, we have the Secretary General of CARICOM, Carla Barnett, with us, along with our friends from the multilateral community, the IFC, the IDB, and the World Bank. Rebuilding Jamaica will require all hands on deck. Right, Dayton?
Yes, sir.
But it will not only require Jamaican hands, it will require the hands of our brothers and sisters in CARICOM, in Central America, in South America, in North America, and indeed the wider world, including Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. And it is our intention to mobilize regional and international support to make the work of rebuilding lighter. And this is for good reason, because Jamaica can be the example of a country hit by a disaster of this magnitude, but recovers, and recover even better and stronger. So we can be the example of resilience, because we have accepted as a government, and we have been trying to inculcate this in our politics, that resilience is an important feature of government and social institutions and our infrastructure. And we have done this by being resilient in our public finances. In fact, I would dare say that one of the reasons we are able to galvanize the multilateral community, it is because of the sacrifice and great effort that we as a people have collectively made in ensuring that we have fiscal discipline rooted in our political culture, in our economics, and in our civic and social affairs. It is well appreciated and understood that the government of Jamaica must be fiscally responsible. So Jamaica is a country that will use resources from the international community and our own taxes in the best and most frugal way, in the smartest way. So we intend to continue this through the development process. Now, it is regretful, without question, that having struggled so hard to reduce our debt from 130 or 40% of GDP to heading towards 60% of GDP, that we are now faced with a situation where half the country literally has been devastated in terms of its infrastructure, that we will have to spend on relief and recovery, but we have also lost revenues. So our financial situation is of great concern, and it has to be managed carefully. I know that at this time there will be calls for spending. There will be even temptation for profligacy. But I assure you that my administration, yes, we will spend to relieve human suffering, but every dollar that is spent will be accounted for, but not just from an accounting point of view, meaning adding up the dollars spent, but it will be accounted for from an efficiency point of view, which is really the greater accountability. That every dollar spent, every aid given, every commitment made will be used in a way that quickly advances the recovery, but at the end of it, makes Jamaica stronger. We've been very strategic in managing the disaster thus far. We are standing at what is essentially ground zero, meaning that this would be within the eye of the hurricane, stretching for about 30 miles from the center of the eye. And we decided that we would bring our friends to see the damage. But the tour was strategic. So we started in Montego Bay, where damage was significant, but certainly not comparable to here. So the international community can get a sense of what the real impact is. Jamaica is not totally destroyed. Jamaica is still standing, and we are recovering quickly. As we drove in, we would see people rebuilding on their own effort, which is applaudable. And we encourage you, if you can stand on your own 2 feet, then please do. It makes it easier for us to take up the people who can't. You would see, as Prime Minister Mottley commented, why is there so much traffic on your road? People are out. Commerce is returning. But we would have also seen the devastation on houses, on communities, the loss of historic heritage sites. Many of our churches, some of them 200 years old, totally destroyed. Our schools destroyed. Livelihoods destroyed. But as President Ali pointed out, the spirit of the Jamaican people, indomitable, optimistic, and still looking forward to a positive future. That is the core on which we will build and recover Jamaica. So, we estimate that approximately 150,000 homes destroyed. We estimate that about 900,000 Jamaicans have been impacted. We estimate, conservatively, approximately $8 billion in physical damage. US, thank you, head of the PIOJ, $8 billion US in just physical damage. That has nothing to do with what we will have to spend on relief and recovery and what we have lost in revenues. This doesn't take into consideration the loss of the tourism industry for the period of time, the loss in agricultural output. So this is significant. But I want to say to every Jamaican, it is not beyond us to recover. In the initial days, like everyone else, I saw crisis. But today, I see opportunity. And I want to encourage every Jamaican to think in this way. This is an opportunity to rebuild and rebuild better and stronger. It is an opportunity to make right things that were wrong in the first place. It is an opportunity to do things differently. It is an opportunity to rearrange and restructure our physical arrangements, our social arrangements, in such a way that everyone can benefit and everyone will be better off. And so we're going to take this opportunity to build the Jamaica that we have all dreamed of. And we're going to do it with integrity, with transparency, and equity. And we're going to do it with efficiency, as quickly as possible. So again, let me thank my colleague heads from CARICOM and our partners from the international community. And most of all, let me thank the people of Jamaica, and in particular where I'm standing now, in eastern Westmoreland, which experienced the epicenter of this disaster. That if we work together, if we focus our energies and attention, we can recover this quickly. Now I know that the local community is eager to hear what is going to come immediately after this visit. Well, firstly, you would have heard commitments from President Ali and from Prime Minister Mottley. Those commitments would include the provision and support for shelter restoration, shelter relief. So the Guyanese Defence Force will send their engineering corps with materials to restore 200 roofs. And I am committing that the effort will be here. It will be under the direction of the JDF and the Member of Parliament and the councillors who will nominate the specific area and the specific homes that would have to be rebuilt. We will begin to focus heavily on the distribution of tarps, because we know it is raining almost every day here, so that you can have some temporary reliefs. We are very shortly finalizing the purchase of modular homes, small modular homes, and those will take a few weeks, but the first batch that comes, we commit it to this constituency and adjoining constituencies around this area. So St. Elizabeth, Northwest, South St. James would be the areas, and South Trelawney would be the areas that we would focus the first batch of the modular containers that come. Immediately, however, meaning within the next few days, we must clear the debris. Significant debris is visible here. We see this. So we are now working in West Green and Catherine Hall in Montego Bay, St. James. The effort is ongoing. We expect them to finish there in a few days. And as soon as that is finished, we're going to redeploy that team to White House along the corridor to Bluefields to remove the debris that is there. We really do not want any health hazard as a result of that. So the work to remove debris will begin. The JDF is here. They have set up their distribution hub, and so the delivery of relief items will continue, and it can only improve as they get to understand the lay of the land much better. They get to know the households and the people and the communities, so that will improve. So as I close, I want to thank the people of this constituency, in particular this area, Bluefields and White House, for your patience in the response to the disaster. God bless you and thank you.